Coach, first off, health-wise, any news on Amir or Kyle?
Well, Cal went through part of practice today. Still not sure. We're going to wait and see how he feels and reacts to the contact, and did more non-contact stuff than he did contact. So we'll see how he feels. Amir's a no-go, still sore, still limping, can't put weight on it. So we'll see where he is this week.
You got a limited prep time with practice, of course, so this is probably very paramount for you. What is the focus, or what are the things you're trying to hone on with this group as you guys move ahead?
Well, today was, again, a lot of defense, fundamentals. That's the only thing you can do now is continue to work on that to get a rhythm, a timing, a togetherness on the defensive end. So that was our main focus today. Did some scrimmaging, special situations. I thought offensively, down the stretch, we executed probably as well as we have all year, getting the ball where we needed to get, got the shots we wanted to get. The execution was good. Defensively, we had a couple of breakdowns down the stretch and mental breakdowns and things you can't do in those close game situations. It was great work for us because it does simulate playoff atmosphere, playoff situation, playoff teams, which is good for us. It was very physical. I thought we handled it well on the offensive end.
Talking about late game scenarios and execution, taking you back to Saturday night, end of game, James helped over on Isaiah. Now that you have more time to digest and look at what happened, what's your take on it? Because
it's our play. The play, we get criticized for running so much for Kyle. It's our play, they have never run that play until last night. We hadn't seen it on film. But again, James' instinct was to come and help. The ball could have landed in 50 million places, and it landed in the place where it landed. So it wasn't anybody's fault. If anything, we could have had more help earlier. Lou got juked out. He faked out at the point of Isaiah Thomas. He was back where he should have been. But again, it was just a freak play. But again, you make your hay earlier in the game. It doesn't always depend on that last play.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about something you mentioned the other day, the rule for Valanciunas encouraging guys to get on the ball, to post up inside of the logo. Sort of how long have you guys had that, and how do you feel that that's helped him get better post position?
Well, we've had it all the time, and to implore him to get deep. Every big man I've ever coached, we've implored him to get deep in the paint. It's kind of a fundamental outlook if you have a big man. And, he's again, one thing with young players, learn to get deep. And once he's done that, he's done an excellent job. Where he gets in trouble is when he gets pushed out. Now speed and quickness, reading the defense comes into play, and that's where he gets in trouble. But he's done an excellent job the last few games of getting it deep, working for low post position, and being effective from it, being efficient, whether it's the kick out. He had one assist to Gravis the other night, which was a great read. But it was because the defense had to collapse because he was so deep. So good things happen when you get deep post position.
I think it's like half the teams now that don't have that logo on their court. Is there a specific 15 feet, 16 feet in that area of sort of comfort where you'd like him to start those post-ups?
In NBA vocabulary, you don't have to have a logo. If you say logo, most NBA people know where the logo is. If I said to JV right now, get inside the logo, he'll know where it is, even if there's no logo out there. So he will know. We used to put a triangle piece of tape down as a triangle from the elbow down to the corner. It get inside there. So logo is just an NBA vocabulary that everyone uses around the league to simulate where to go, and you should kind of know where it is.
You mentioned his passing. It seems like he's making one or two of those passes out of the post a game. That's really working for him. How much of that is position, and how much of that is improved just recognition?
A little bit of both, Eric, and it's what Josh was making a point of. He's getting it deeper. He's recognizing where the help is, but what helps him to see better and for them to really clearly make a decision is when you get deep in the paint. If you're out there, they can kind of be in between and play both. But if you get 2 feet in the paint, they've got to make a decision whether they come in. It's clear for him to either make the pass out or make the play. So that's helped as far as his decision making is concerned.
Sorry, Dwane, these last two losses, the late game situations, Is this like a learning experience for these guys?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, that it is a learning experience, that guys are learning. You hate to lose, but both games we had a 2-point lead with 30 seconds to go. We have a non-switch with Gravis and DeMar that cost us a 3. Penetration, Marcus Smart gets a 3-point shot in the corner that cost, and it wasn't anything schematically, game plan. It was just a mental mistake that we can't afford to make in those situations, especially in the play. Every possession is important on both ends of the floor. And offensively, I thought we've executed much better in those stretches. We got the plays we wanted, the ball in position where we needed to, the person in position where we needed to get to. DeMar made the proper reads, the passes out of the double teams he needed to, found Lou. So that's been good. Now, age-old nemesis is we got to have that focus and concentration and decision-making on the defensive end.
But there's time is running out in the regular season. Like, when are you hoping that one of these games it'll click in, or the guys will?
Only thing you can hope to do is to get better. I mean, we're not going to become a defensive juggernaut in a month. What we got to do is show up certain areas, certain positions, and just continue to improve and get better, mainly as a team. We're not going to change some of the weaknesses we have overnight and in a month's time. So we got to make sure we have our team decisions, our team togetherness there to help each other.
Have you, even in the back of your mind, figured out or want to have the 5 guys ideally?
We have, yeah.
Okay.
Coach,
Charlotte's been your nemesis for whatever reason, yeah.
For every year. So, again, one of those team matchups, we owe that team. Even when they were struggling, we struggled with, and we were struggling too, by the way, at the time. So it's nothing, but they've whatever this matchups, Al Jefferson, Kemba Walker, whatever it is, we've had trouble with Charlotte, and we got to go in and break that mojo. We got to go in and break that jinx that we have with Charlotte.
Amir,
Do you approach these last games any differently, knowing you're going into the postseason?
We're working on some things, Doug, offensively and defensively, that we know we're going to have to use down the stretch. In the playoffs, intermittently after a timeout in those situations. Again, it's a two-edged sword. You don't want to expose everything because we have scouts from all the potential teams we have at our games, and so we want to make sure that we don't overexpose ourselves, but again, at the same time, get some game situations. That's why those situations against Boston and also Brooklyn were very valuable to us. And then we simulated them again today in practice. So again, it's decision-making, team defense, individual defenses can get a little bit better. But again, I don't know if we're going to change overnight in those areas, but as a team, we can get tighter and make better decisions as a team defensively is what we're looking for in these next couple of weeks.
You're missing 2 rotation guys, but do you start looking at fits and everything?
Right, that's what he was asking about as far as rotation in the playoffs, and this kind of helps us in that situation. Injuries never help, but the guys that's going to be behind them, get them some sweat and some meaningful minutes in those situations is going to be valuable. We'd like to get Amir and Kyle back as quickly as possible, but with that said, I thought Tyler came in and did a heck of a job, in his absence.
Speaking of the Amir-Tyler relationship, Amir's one of your best shot blockers and rebounders. Tyler has a different set of skills. What will be asked of him? Will he be asked to kind of replace Amir, or are different things expected of him in that pairing with Jonas?
Well, just do what he does. I mean, he's got to bring his energy, his toughness, his physicality. I thought he jump-started us in the second half with just his activity. He had some tough fouls down the stretch, but again, his activity and his toughness got us into overtime and against a team that's playing as well as anyone right now. And we played 2 of the hottest teams in the East. In Brooklyn and also in Boston. So, but Tyler jump-started us. His energy is infectious. I mean, the other guys kind of got into it after he got the steal and went for the dunk. So you can't replace that. All at once, Tyler's not going to become a shot blocker. We're not going to make guys into something they're not. What he can do is continue to do what he does, do it better, do it within the team concept, and that's with all of our guys, and especially our perimeter players.
Coach, in regards to DeMar, right? He's had it working this lately, right? Particularly from the mid range, and so just in terms of his game, like peaking right now, going towards the playoff push, with his mid range game. Like in the playoffs, most teams want to run you off the three-point line, and because that's what the analytically approved thing is, right?
Right.
So, with DeMar, like the way he's working from the mid-range game, like how big of an impact will that do? How much does that help the team right now?
It will be huge. With DeMar is just now, I think, getting back physically in condition from his injury, missing those 22 games. He had a very serious injury. I think now he's just kind of getting his sea legs back, and I know it's been a long time, but just getting the confidence in his body where he can explode up over the defense, makes moves, move laterally defensively. I think all that is coming back now at this time of year, and you just don't walk back in an NBA game from the type of injury he's had and be who you used to be. So he's coming back now. It's a great time for him. We need him, especially now that we're going into the playoffs. So it's been good to see because there's nobody that works harder than DeMar DeRozan on our team.